All right, now we're going to read chapter 213 of My Hero Academia. This one is called Location of the Soul. Try harder, dude. If you do, well, things have a way of working out. Oh, okay. I don't have a mouth, so I can't answer. I have no mouth, and yet I have so many questions to ask. So, this is really funny to me. This is very clever what they've done here. To have the successor that he talks to, the inherited his inherited ancestor or whatever, be this like really funky guy, this guy that's not going to explain anything, that's just gonna use like bizarre statements and really aggressively just shout at Deku. They can advance a lot and they can kind of like provide a lot of information, but they have a good reason for why you don't just find out everything right now, you know? Because he's just not the type of guy to be like, all right, well, would you like a history on the origin of this power and its mechanisms? Here, let me wheel out the chalkboard. Like, obviously not. There's more than a vestige right now. It's not a dream person either. These people are actually alive inside One For All. Whew. Okay, so Deku figures this out on his own. He realizes that because this guy has such a strong appearance, such a strong personality, that it can't just be a dream, it can't just be like a remnant that he's building things off of. Like, it could be that One For All just encodes certain memories, and what he was seeing before were just inherited memories. And it could be that it inherits like will, so sometimes he'll have a drive to do something, and that's the inherited will. But with something with this amount of complex personality that is reacting and adapting to new information that it's being presented, it's like a real person that is somehow meaningfully still alive inside this power. Which is a little creepy that you have 7 people just hanging out inside of you. And they're really hyping up that it's going to be that all of these characters are somehow going to play some role in the story. I'm not really sure how. Maybe there'll be like a whole mental adventure arc or something. But the way that they've been like silhouetting them and kind of showing glimpses of them and stuff, that can't be for nothing. So it looks like, based on this image here on page 3 at the start, that if we kind of think of them going down the line, because we see at the bottom, I think at the bottommost one, that is All. No, All Might is up there. Never mind. That guy is way more obviously All Might. Never mind. I thought they were in some sort of order. Because you can see Nana, All Might's master, kind of bottom left-ish, underneath this guy, Goggles Man. And then All Might is above Goggles Man. So I think the topmost one must be All For One's brother, right? The original holder of One For All. And then the guy to the right of him, the first inheritor, maybe? I don't know. The fact that those two are the most shadowed makes me think they're like the furthest back in time. Anyways, I'm on a time limit here. Listen up. Power you just used is my quirk. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Oh my god. No. I don't know if I like this. I really liked the simplicity of Deku's power and how easily it like hyped itself up when he went to higher percentages of unleashing it. But now it seems like, all right, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. But it seems like he's about to say, I had a quirk, and I also had One For All. So now the quirk I already had is now like bundled up within One For All. So you get to use my quirk too. And like that's the significance that all of these other people are going to play, is that one by one, Deku is going to unlock their quirks. And that so far he was really only using like the All Might version, where it's just like, I'm strong. You know? Which, I don't know, this could be really cool, but it just seems like so much more complex that it's going to be harder to have the immediate impact of like, I'm 30% now and crazy stuff is happening. If it's like, oh, now I can use like water gun, I don't know. Okay. Our quirk factors merge with the core of this power and have been inside of One For All for a long time. Very, very tiny core. Small pocket inside a flickering ember, perhaps the surface of rippling water. That's a cool image. Oh, excuse me. This fusion of flame and ripple on this diagram thing, this explanation. That's very cool. Origin of the power concealed by the cultivated power. That core has begun its quickening. It's expanding and growing larger. Quickening, I think, is a really cool word. It's used to refer to when fetuses in the womb start moving. And I think it's just like an awesome, and like in Final Fantasy, quick is the spell that makes the next person go immediately, or quicken. Ah, that's so cool. But it's also like a tax software. That's less cool. Anyways, so the core is moving. It's quickening. It's expanding and growing larger. What does this mean for our boy Deku? Occasionally seen the intervals between these fluctuations, One for All itself is growing. So these are the things he sees in unconscious states, things he's had dreams about, and the things that he saw when he was brainwashed before. And of course, being brainwashed now is why he's able to have such a long and direct conversation. This guy's explaining a lot more than I thought he would. But you still get an element of his kind of funky nature insofar as that he hasn't given a nice, sensible explanation. He's just sort of dumping things on Deku. Just now you're thinking, I'm going to capture him or grab him. Which I know you were. Oh, ooh, I get it. So it's like the quirk is just acting on its own now. It's taking Deku's basic desires, his urges or whatever, and then taking on like the most appropriate form, which in this case was a big spooky black energy hand that's just gonna reach out and grab everybody. My quirk, Black Whip, fits those feelings perfectly. That was the first one. So here's a great quirk, I'll have you know. Yeah, okay, that's how it's gonna work, huh? He's just gonna pick them up like Kirby. All right, okay, I think I'm into it. I'm especially into it because it reflects this whole idea of like that One for All is really driven by the most kind of primal feelings within you, you know? And that Deku had to do all of this sort of like meditative self-conceptualization and stuff in order to use it in the way that he wanted. But otherwise it just sort of exploded out of him. So this is in line with that. So now instead of just exploding out of him with raw power, it explodes out of him with black whips or whatever too. I don't know. It's been drastically strengthened compared to when I was using it. Oh, okay, all right. Starting to feel all floaty. I only exist inside your heart. Remember, if you wield your power in anger, the power will respond accordingly. So yes, this is when what's his face, the copycat man in Class B was trying to goad on Deku by making fun of Bakugao, and he's like, settle the F down, my boy. What's important is always being in control of your heart. Finding it angry, angry is one source of power. Careful, extreme control over that anger. Okay, that's kind of a nice message. You know, there is a lot of power in being righteously angry, about being angry for the right reasons and with the right motivations. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be angry about. I've been handing down through 8 people. One for All has become enormously powerful. From here on out, you're going to manifest 6 different quirks. Okay. Are we just getting all of them now? The way he says that makes me think that we're gonna get them all now. Which means Deku's power level just flew through the roof, right? Like, especially in this series. In most shonen series, the power-ups are a little more like linear. And what's most important is like your raw strength, your power level. Whereas in BNHA, it's all about like matchup advantage and creative usage of quirks and having a wide variety of uses for your quirks, like up-close fighting, projectiles, rescue situations, blah, 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 movement, the evasion, whatever. So for Deku to gain 6 new powers right now, which implies that everyone besides All Might also had a quirk on top of One for All. Right? Does that make sense? Anyways. Yeah, because there's 8. The first guy, his power was One for All. All Mights is nil. Yeah, okay. I guess that means okay. 6, just 6 quirks. You're just gonna get 6 quirks right now. Control your heart. Do your best, boy. We're with you. Master us. You're going to be the one who completes One for All. Okay, that's an interesting idea. I don't know what the heck that means. That seems like a sort of spiritual goal, which goes above and beyond just fight villains. Another sort of quest that I guess he's on. But maybe it has something to do with fighting All for One. Maybe there's some sort of resolution that'll happen when he eliminates that from the world or something. I don't know. Anyways, it's interesting. You're going to be the one who completes All for One. Never before have we had that sort of goal in mind for Deku. Okay, so it doesn't look like they're just going to be like, here's your 6 quirks, here's how you use them. Which makes sense. That's something they can really nicely dole out in future arcs. That's now a whole handful of cards they can play. And now we're just back to the fight. So brainwashing. Is everything good? Tiger seems a little distressed. He has no idea what's been going on. Really worried that he hurt his pseudo GF here. Oh, but without a moment to hesitate. Without even wondering maybe we should call this match because Deku just exploded gigantic black tentacles out and he's never done anything like that before. And even his teammate was extremely concerned. None of that matters. None of that matters. You gotta win. Class B's gotta win. And he just tries to hit him. I don't know about that, man. Do you really think that's gonna work? Or is he replicating someone's quirk? He rides in on a nut, which I think the size quirk lady had blown up. Ooh. No, wait. Hold on. Let me see if I can remember. There's also somebody else with, like, their team right now is Shinso, Brainwashing, him, Copycat, Size, Doubling Impact Man, and somebody else. Somebody else, right? Is that who's making these metal objects? Or is he replicating that quirk? Is it like a metal object making quirk? Or something? I don't remember. Oh, yeah, this girl. Yeah. Poltergeist! Right. She just can throw stuff around. That's right. Okay, so what's happening is they're taking a bunch of small pieces of scrap metal and stuff that are lying around. Size Lady is enlarging them. She's throwing them around. He's riding around on them. That's awesome, dude. This is the sort of thing that this arc has been so fantastic for. Is like so quickly you get up to speed with these new powers. I also got out of speed, unfortunately, because I took such a long break. But now that I remember, I'm up to speed again. And the team combos and the significance, you can just like see how they've been practicing. Alright, so everybody's running in. Here's the rest of Class B's team. And then here's the rest of Class A's team using perhaps a misguided attack of just throwing everything at them. She pulls out the barrier. Poltergeist is in place. Everyone's together. It's a melee. Oh, that's a nice shot. Look at all this stuff going on. What's his face? Minata's face here in the bottom right. It's close. I can't do it. Why did I think I could do it? It's very clearly a comic book face. Deku was taking a moment to chill out here. Probably pretty smart. Important is always being in control of your heart. Oh, and here comes the binding wrapping stuff, which has a cool name that eludes me right now, that Eraserhead uses, and has taught Shinso the art of using as well, which I think is really cool. I thought that was an awesome thing to do. It's a way to have Eraserhead's fighting style kind of replicated in the kids' generation, you know, so we can get it in arcs like this. And his power is somewhat similar to Eraserhead's, right? That it's like a really effective takedown of like one person at a time. That if you're able to kind of trick him into falling for, just like will seal that entire part of the match. Yeah, I've got so much in my head right now I can hardly think. Yeesh. But I guess, you know, it's like a real hero exercise. Let's keep watching for a bit, you know? Like, I guess for him to say, hey, time out, I just had kind of like a real trippy thing happen to me here. You're not gonna believe this, but that's not how it would work in a real hero situation. You can't tell the villains time out. The fifth set shall continue. All right, next issue crashing in with a center color. Hell yeah! Oh my god, this arc is so good. I'm actually so glad that they didn't call it, that they didn't stop the fight, and that we're actually going to see the conclusion of the Class A versus Class B war. Hell yeah. And that there wasn't, like, as soon as this arc began, as soon as I realized, like, we're actually doing this, let's go, I was so worried that villains were going to show up, that halfway through, someone would invade and everything would be thrown out and they would just fight the villains. Which would still be cool, you know, they get to see Class A and Class B team up to fight villains, kind of like they did in the training camp arc. But no. This is so much better. Just the pure, unadulterated A versus B. Isn't that, I don't know, it's so hype. I have friends who only watch the anime, and I've been trying to get them to switch over to reading the manga, to get caught up on reading the manga so I can hang out with them and talk about the manga. And I like really wanted to like tell them just the concept of this arc. I just wanted to say like, it's A versus B. It's A versus B. Doesn't that pump you up? Doesn't that make you want to read the manga? I think I actually did. I was about to say, but of course I didn't because I'm a good friend and I don't spoil things for my friends. But I think I was like, no, you need to know. It's A versus B. Okay, all right. Let's read the next chapter.